Joe Bob Briggs here with the #1 rule for a TNT Monstervision movie. Anybody can die at any moment.
Watch a Godzilla triple feature next on TNT's Monstervision, hosted by Joe Bob Briggs.
All right, Joe Bob Briggs still here, and the giant swimming caterpillars. I love that part. It always gets to me. It's a little much when you can see the nozzle hole in their mouths as they're spraying that white goo all over Godzilla. I mean, it looks like somebody took a garden hose nozzle and painted a face on it. But still a great ending, and that was Godzilla's final death scene for 20 years. In Godzilla 1985, he died again, but in all the movies in between, we had that goofy Godzilla, you know, the happy Godzilla, the Godzilla that's kind of used as a hero to kill the other monsters and help mankind. See, Godzilla got so famous, he wouldn't take those villain roles anymore, kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, normally, right now, I'd tell you what's on Monstervision next week, but I have no idea, so what's on next week? The 4th of July weekend? It's 4th of July weekend, you got to know something about it. Something patriotic, right? Yeah. You can't get any help around this place. 17 assistant vice presidents sitting right over here, and they're all going, I don't know, you have the schedule? Blah, blah, blah. All right, we're moving on to our second of 3 big Godzilla flicks tonight. Next up is Godzilla versus Monster Zero, which ought to be called Godzilla, Rodan, and Ghidorah Go to Outer Space. This is a weird one, starring Nick Adams, the token American actor best known for... Anybody? Frankenstein Conquers the World. You didn't see that? Or was it Frankenstein Conquers the Martians? It was Frankenstein Conquers the World. Okay, it came out in 1966. This movie we're going to watch now came out in '66 when they were searching for new monster movie formulas over at Toho. So the two things they started using were, 1, outer space, and 2, throw every monster we've got into the same movie and have them fight a lot. So I don't want to spoil the goofball plot for you, so I'll just review those drive-in totals. We have 32 dead bodies, multiple laser ray guns, fire-breathing 3-headed flying dragon, extremely cheesy flying saucers, space bubble monster transports, monster-melting heat lasers, mindless destruction of civilian habitats, train wreck, fire-spitting, laser breath, twitching epileptic aliens, 3 flying saucer explosions, dancing Godzilla, 3.5 stars. Check it out, and then later on tonight, don't forget, we've still got Godzilla's Revenge. Okay, go. Godzilla is kind of a symbol of our times, don't you think? Socially awkward, can't decide what his goal in life is, doesn't realize how many lives he's destroying by his behavior, you know, reinvents himself every 5 years, knows how to party. Well, not exactly how you expect a Godzilla movie to start out, is it, with all this flying through outer space junk? In fact, in Japan, they didn't even use Godzilla in the title of this movie. It was released in 1966 as Invasion of the Astro Monsters, which is a better title, really, for what it is. It didn't make it over to the United States until 4 years later when it was called either Monster Zero or Godzilla versus Monster Zero, which is what it's come down to us as. Godzilla doesn't really play a huge part in the film, but it sold better when it had his name on it. A lot of the real hardcore Godzilla fans hate this one because there's so little monster footage, but it does have its moments. Okay, back to the movie. I always thought they should have done interspecies love stories with these things. You know, they were looking for ideas. Godzilla falls in love with Mothra. You know, that'd be good. Ghidorah gets the hots for Rodan and won't leave him alone, you know, or her alone. Is Rodan a male or a female? I don't remember. How do you tell the sex of a bird, anyway? I don't want to know. Don't even tell me that. Wing color, that's it. I don't want to think about it. How long does bird sex last, anyway? There's not a stopwatch fast enough, is there?
On TNT.
Well, we're a half hour into this, baby, and I hadn't seen Godzilla stomp Jack. So, I don't know, while we're waiting for the movie to start, why don't we just bring out the TNT Mail Girl? Do a little Joe Bob's Advice to the Hopeless, the weekly feature in which we get in touch with our beloved audience. And, honey, you know, I can't help watching this movie about a wild space alien sex goddess in there, but without constantly thinking about you. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Maybe you have a lot of frustrated fantasies or something.
Well, all right. You know, just for that, I'm not even going to tell you the dream I had about you last night.
Thank you.
Well, it was a good one, too. I mean, has anybody ever told you that you look great in a leopard print thong bikini?
All the time. Now let's read the letter.
You own a leopard print thong bikini?
It's from Lisa of California.
Because I thought that was something that I just made up in my dream, but, you know, knowing that you actually own a leopard print thong bikini puts a whole damn another thing, you know, spin on the thing. But anyway, dearest Joe Bob, my major gripe is that I'm a very lonely viewer. If you care anything at all about the emotional welfare of your faithful viewers, and I think you do, you will do something about it. I have no one to love and stay up late with to watch your goofy, scary movies, and that sucks. I figure since you probably have several zillion masculine, muscular viewers out there, you should be able to hook me up with at least one of them. So here's your assignment, if you choose to accept it. You have 1 full month to find me a kind and hard-working Christian man over 6 feet tall who is much younger than I with mucho muscles. You will accept this assignment, won't you? I'm sure you want to keep all of your faithful viewers happy. I'm 38, 5'6", and 250 pounds. Now, most people think that us big girls should just shut up and take what man we can get and be grateful. But I deserve a lot more than that. After my husband left me 10 years ago, he said because I got fat, I put myself through nursing school, and I'm attractive, loving, and kind. I have a lot to offer a man. I have morals and dignity, so I am very picky when it comes to men because I feel I deserve only the very best. And your assignment, Joe Bob, if you choose to accept it, is to find me one. I will no longer settle for some buttwad who sees me as an easy target, a middle-aged fat girl who he can use and abuse because she's desperate and will take anything she can get. I deserve more than that and will hold out for a good man who deserves me until hell freezes over. Hopefully, Joe Bob, with your help, I won't have to wait that long. Sincerely, your faithful but lonely viewer, Lisa of Oakhurst, California. Okay, go Lisa. You know, well, she put it on the line there, guys. 250 pounds of love and fun. Lisa reminds me of when Ernest Borgnine married Ethel Merman. You know, big people, big wedding, big hearts. You need a king, you know, you need a king for that wedding night. King-size bed. You need one of those NBA king-size beds. Special order those sheets, too. Well, now, I'll ask you, honey, how do you feel about big guys, you know? Because would you date a guy who weighed 250 pounds?
Well, there was this guy once who played for the Dallas Cowboys, and he was really kind of cute. And I met him at this party.
Okay, all right, that's enough. More than I wanted to know.
Well, I just wanted to give you my answer, which is yes. It's better than the scrawny ones.
All right, okay. So anyway, maybe there's hope for Lisa, too. So write to us, guys. Get in touch with your fat hood. We could make wonderful things happen here in Lisa's life.
Why don't you date her?
Okay, back to the movie. On Planet X.
You know, I really think that she's interested in you.
She doesn't really want me. Okay, back to the movie.
Let's ask Lisa. Lisa, if you would like to have a date with Joe Bob, you just let us know, okay? You like big girls, don't you, Joe Bob?
Of course I like big girls, but I'm sort of involved right now, and so I think we ought to go back to the movie.
I can't believe it, and you're always hitting on me.
Well, back to the movie. Go, roll the thing. What I meant was I'm involved in my mind with you, so it doesn't leave any room in there for other women, especially big fat women that would take up a lot of room in there. So it's nothing about big women per se. What just happened?
To Joe Bob's Last Call and Godzilla vs. Monster Zero on TNT.
I just love it when Godzilla does that cute little victory dance. That's something they never would have done in the first 4 movies because Godzilla had to be totally destructive at all times. But they turned Ghidorah into the evil monster and Godzilla into the monster that's always showing up to save everybody from Ghidorah. So it's kind of like pro wrestling. You know, they went with different monster combos depending on what people wanted at the time. One week Godzilla kicks Ghidorah's hiney, the next week Mothra beats up on Godzilla. And the other thing I noticed is that they never go to Tokyo anymore. You know, half the fun of the movies was watching Tokyo get re-destroyed in every movie. Now they just waste a couple of villages. Fleeing villagers, you know, you got to have those in these movies. Much easier to do fleeing villagers than fleeing corporate bankers, you know. Okay, we're back on Planet X. The Wicked Witch is dead. And, well, not dead, just kind of scared off for a while, so let's go. They probably had meetings at Toho where they sat around and said, you know, Godzilla could kick King Kong's butt. And then 6 months later, it's a movie. They do it. These guys were great. There's only 2 film companies I would have loved to work at. Toho Studios, where they dreamed up these monster plots, and Warner Brothers Cartoons in its heyday, where they dreamed up Bugs Bunny plots. Same thing, you know. Bet Bugs Bunny could beat Scarlett O'Hara's butt, and it becomes a movie, you know. Are you following this?
We now return to Joe Bob's Last Call and Godzilla vs. Monster Zero on TNT.
Oh, great. Okay, the way the evil aliens are going to take over the Earth is they send a tape-recorded message where the chief alien says, I demand you obey me. That's going to work. That was supposed to be the miracle drug, right? I thought it looked like a yellow brick of styrofoam, but why would they open the box and there's a tape in there and they go, oh, here it is, the miracle drug. It must be on tape. I mean, wouldn't they check it before they left Planet X? Am I overanalyzing this? All right, maybe so. Okay, back to the movie. Rioting in the streets now because some people want to cooperate with the outer space aliens. They're going, oh, I don't know, dear. They could take us over. We'd still have a good life. So, honey, where'd you get that Monstervision T-shirt? Because the only place I ever saw one of those is at CNN Center at the Turner store. Did you shoplift that thing out of there?
No, I won it in a contest on Monstervision website.
Oh, the website thing again. Yeah. What contest? I've never heard of that.
It's the Monster Caption Contest. It's really cool. They put a picture on there of a monster, and you write in and you write the caption for it, and if they pick you, you win, and I won.
Well, you shouldn't win that. You're not eligible for that. You work here. That's not right.
Well, maybe if you were nicer to people, you could win one, too. You don't even know the website address.
I know the website address.
No, you don't.
Yeah, it has .com or net.com or something like that in it.
God, we might be here all night. It's tnt.turner.com/Monstervision.
I was just about to say that, but you interrupted me. Check out the caption contest on the Monstervision website at tnt.turner.com/Monstervision.
Nothing can prepare you for the outer limits and the new Twilight Zone. Back to back every weekday on TNT.
We now return to Joe Bob's Last Call and Godzilla vs. Monster Zero on TNT.
Oh, Glenn, I'm governed by electronics, but I love you. That's the big scene where Nick Adams, the only American actor in the film, screams, you rats! You stinking rats!
What did you do to her?
Nick kind of grows on you, I think. He was pretty decent in Frankenstein Conquers the World, too. Or is it Frankenstein Conquers the Martians or Frankenstein Conquers the World? I can't ever remember what it is. I've watched too many of these things. Sadly, by the time this movie was released in America, Nick was dead. He died in 1968. He committed suicide. Okay, back to Godzilla versus Monster Zero. And see, I always wonder whether I should wait till the end of the movie to say stuff like that, because people go, that was such a downer, Joe Bob. You said that right in the middle of the movie. We were watching the guy. But, I mean, half the people we watch in these movies are dead, right? You ever watch a movie from, like, 1934 and you think, they're all dead? I'm watching dead people. I do. Hey, Joe Bob Briggs here with the #1 rule for a TNT Monstervision movie. Anybody can die at any moment.
Launch into battle with Megaforce 1 week from tonight at 10 on TNT's Monstervision.
We now return to Joe Bob's Last Call and Godzilla vs. Monster Zero on TNT.
Well, as far as I can tell, Godzilla is doing some rampaging there. Ghidorah is rampaging. Godzilla and Ghidorah are both creating giant swaths of destruction, but Rodan isn't doing diddly squat. Rodan is sitting over on the mountain saying, do you guys really need me for this? You know, I mean, why did they even put Rodan in the movie? Rodan is phoning this one in. But now it's time for the big finish in Godzilla versus Monster Zero, and the way you can tell is Godzilla, he has that cockeyed look, you know, that thing where he gets real PO'd. You know, when they start with those missiles, he hates those missiles. He goes bonkers when they do those missiles, you know, and swatting them, you know, away from his face. So come on, we got aliens, we got flying saucers, we got 3 super monsters, we got the dead spirit of a beautiful outer space love robot disguised as a toy company executive, beckoning to her lost lover, kill them, kill them, kill them. What more could you want in a movie aimed at 10-year-olds? Let's roll. Those flying saucers are looking kind of flimsy, don't you think? Looks like somebody watercolored some Tupperware lids. I kind of like it, though.
We now return to Joe Bob's Last Call on TNT.
All right, a 3-monster kung fu steel cage death match there at the end. Outstanding conclusion to Godzilla versus Monster Zero. And now, believe it or not, we've got one more Godzilla picture, Godzilla's Revenge, which came out in 1969. It was once voted the stupidest Godzilla movie in a poll of Godzilla fans, but the reason was simple to figure out, because Eiji Tsuburaya, the guy who created all the monster special effects, he died in 1969, and since he wasn't around to create any new scenes of Godzilla stomping through Tokyo, they didn't have much to work with. But it's a children's fantasy about this young boy who fears the local bully, so he daydreams about being Godzilla's friend, and he gets transported to Monster Island, and he watches Godzilla taking on all comers in a monster free-for-all. One of the titles for this movie was All Monsters Attack, which pretty much sums it up. So you check that out. I'm out of here. And I want to remind you that next week, well, I can't remind you what we have next week because I forgot. So the one thing I didn't forget is the one about the priest, the drunk, and the engineer. Have you guys heard this one? Okay. A priest, a drunk, and an engineer are all lined up at the guillotine to be executed. So they're given the choice to either look up or look facing down in the guillotine. So the priest says, well, heaven is up, so I'll look up so I can see where I'm going. So they place the priest in the guillotine facing up, and they release the blade. The blade stops just inches from the priest's neck. So they let him go, thinking it's a miracle. So the drunk is next, and he thinks, well, if it worked for the priest, it might work for me. So he says, put me looking up. So they release the blade, stops just inches from his neck. So they let him go. They're thinking, this is also a miracle. So the engineer thinks, well, why not? So they put the engineer in the guillotine looking up. The engineer says, oh, I see your problem. Joe Bob Briggs reminding you that the drive-in will never die.